Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Jose Conejo Martin, and I'm right here with
El Calderon.
664, La Baja. I'm from the city of Los Angeles, born and raised. But a while back, me metí en un pedo and I had to go on this journey. Y pues caí aquí en la ciudad y I ended up staying here 15 years and this became my second home. But throughout those 15 years, I was hiding from these guys over here.
Yo soy de Tijuana, born and raised here in Tijuana. I'm a child of the city. Used to skateboard, used to tag buildings, used to hang around and just cause trouble. Not a lot of chances and opportunities for people like me here. And I decided it was a good job to go into the police work in Mexico. And I got to chase people like him for a while.
You know, I grew up in the streets of Los Angeles, but then I end up here in the country that where my parents were born. And I remember the night que cruzamos, you know, it was nighttime, cruzamos, I seen the thing in the mountain. And, you know, once I crossed, I knew that I was never gonna be able to go back, you know? Y you know, being a fugitive is not an easy thing. You learn as you go, you know? Sometimes you gotta hide in plain sight, and then sometimes you gotta go underground. And then along the way, you pick up enemies. You're hiding from the government. You just, it's a lot. It's not an easy thing to do.
Buscar y cazar hombres es algo que es muy adictivo para muchos. Like hunting a man is one of those things. I was not only born in the jungle of Tijuana, I also hunted here. And Tijuana is the corner of Latin America. Haitians, Americans coming back basically to find their roots. People hiding, people looking for an easy way to make a few million and then disappear into the nothingness, the dream, the dream is free, the hustle is sold separately. And the game here was real, and it's been real. Esta es la universidad. This is the university. This is where people have come, learn, and if you don't graduate, you go off somewhere else, either beneath or above, whatever karma you got in life, that's where you go. Being a hunter here, I got to learn from the best teachers on the planet, people with experience. Experience is a bitch of a teacher, but she will never lie to you. And when I got to meet people like my amigo Conejo, a lot of people would take somebody like him, put him in a hole, not talk to him for a few days and see what comes after. I took a knee and I listened. I started conversations. I never made the mistake of dehumanizing my enemy, and realized later on that, as I call it, the after party or the afterlife, when shit's said and done, when job ends, when people that you thought were brothers and family leaves you, the enemy turns into something else. Turns into a conversation. And it's a mirror. I was born in Tijuana. He was born in LA. It's an interesting experience right now, seeing ourselves kind of cross paths as we look back before we look forward.
Me, the way I basically see it is you adapt or you die. I got they finally caught up to me in 2016, November of 2016. I got extradited back to the US. I ended up getting out in 2018. I pled down to a lesser charge, but for some reason, something kept on calling me back to the city. So I'm always here, aquí es mi casa y the things I seen here, las cosas que aprendí, la gente que conocí, Like, I would never change that for nothing. Even though I felt so much pain here. I felt like the worst of the worst kind of emotions running through my body. You know, like, you know, some of you might not know what it is to not sleep for 15 years unless you have insomnia. But, you know, it's just survival mode, you know? You know, and to this day, like, I don't know, I represent 664.
Stray dogs, perros de la calle. You get a perro de la calle and take him home. Start feeding him. There's no trust there. He still wants to leave. He still wants to go outside. Suddenly you get trust, calm. A dog sleeps for about 3 days. It's tired. You know, tired from being hunted, tired from running, trying to figure out where the next meal's coming from. I had that same process you had, but in reverse. Like, I was on 24/7 for 12 years. 7 phones, rifles, grenades, shit around my bed, trying to figure out what the next day is gonna bring. Getting moved around a lot, not knowing what home was. And all of a sudden finding myself with all that over. A government, you know, casting me aside. People turning their backs on me. And a job ending. All of a sudden all the responsibility turns into a sleepless night looking out the window. Picking the next fight. And still struggling to find exactly what that next fight is. And, you know, most of the war that I've been fighting right now has been internal. It wasn't external anymore. So coming to terms with not being that anymore. Come to terms with laying down the bottle. Most of the war that I fought was over for me. Although the war rages on. I left to the United States to look for a better life, a future for myself. And basically all that future related to me reliving some of the trauma that I went through, some of the experience that I went through, and showing other people what my city showed me and what those lessons were. My therapy sessions were tying people up, showing them how to get out of the things that I used to tie them up. My therapy sessions were showing people how to again across the country, showing people from the military to the police to civilians that want to travel and move about freely in the world. And my university was Tijuana. She was a very abusive mother, but she produced some pretty interesting children. Tijuana as a city is a pretty interesting backdrop. We're talking to Conejo about it. It's an island. It's una isla. It's an island where different species that shouldn't be intermingled in other parts of nature are intermingled here. It's a Jurassic Park of a sort, you know. Different interests, different people. The largest drug market on the planet. On the other side of it, a highway, a super highway of drugs coming across. A school of murderers, a school of assassins, a school of people that are looking to create security for themselves and their families, doing something that is very insecure and dangerous. This was the school.
Yo la neta, desde morro, yo nunca pensé que yo me iba a ser compa de un placa, or placas, several, porque yo, as we grew up, we always think of the police as the enemy. De hecho, cuando yo tenía como 10 años, no nomás yo y todos mis amigos, llegaba un black and white, todos corríamos for no fucking reason. And we already had in our mind que they ask us something, it's like, fuck you. I don't know nothing. Es lo que nos enseñan desde morros, you know. I don't know nothing. Y le caigo pa acá, a place where I found my voice. When it comes to the music, I found my voice in Tijuana. When it comes to spirituality, I found my spirituality in Tijuana. When it comes to like, even my manhood, my physicality, I found it here in the martial arts. I got my black belt here. Not in Tijuana, I got it in Jalisco, but I was living in Tijuana. And I found a lot of things here, you know? And like I was saying, nunca pensé que yo iba a ser compa de un placa, de un estatal, peor un pinche estatal. Los pinches pepos, them motherfuckers was on me, you know? And I knew if I had to worry about somebody in La Baja that was going to get me, iban a ser los pepos. They had the most technology. Ellos tenían el grupo en Lancet. They were hooked up with the US. You know, like, well, it's like a web of intelligence that is in the underworld. And you know, you pick up all this information y oyes de esto y de otro. Nah, pues they doing it like this. O que traen una little tablet where you put your hand y pum, corre todo. And all these things. And pues la neta les sacaba la vuelta. I wasn't trying to fuck with them, you know? And it wasn't because a motherfucker was scared. It's because, shit, I was living my life. Ya estaba a gusto. You know, I embraced Baja, you know? This was my home. And, you know, in the beginning, my boy, que now he's rest in peace, él siempre me decía, hey, Rabbit, this is home. And I'd be like, Charlie, hell nah, this is your home. But con los años, this shit became my home. And como digo, I wouldn't change nothing about it. And you know, I met like Ed, and I have other friends, Carlos y Municipales, and all. And, you know, a lot of these people, I met them through spiritual practices, through ceremonies, through rituals. And I was like, man, they cool too. They fucking under pressure. That's why they sometimes act out of pocket, because they crack too. You know, we all humans, you know? And some of you fools are gonna watch this shit and be like, fuck that fool. So they're talking some peaceful shit with the cops. Nah, fuck no. I'm always gonna be who I am, but, you know, I'm gonna be cordial with whoever's cordial with me, you know? And at the same time, we have a lot of shit in common. We're playing the same fucking game. It's that cat and mouse game. Es el mismo pinche juego, you know, y pues tú tienes que hacer tu chamba y yo tengo que hacer mi jale, and this shit is fucking chess. Es ajedrez, es strategy.
Había cabrones que lo tomaban personal y buscaban la raza. Y a mí me tocó hacer lo que hice, y en el tiempo que yo hice, el trabajo que estaba, era cuando había miedo de nuestra parte. Hacíamos el jale como era. We did our job like we had to do. There was fear there. It changed now. You know, that's the shadow of what we were back then. For a while there, we were doing some shit. We were doing some work, and like everything gets corrupted. People get in, people get out. Fucking people get fucking betrayed and all that shit. If anything we share is that, you know, there's always betrayal everywhere. Fucking knives are always pointing at your back. Me acuerdo de un cabrón, Jaramillo, he would say, hey, wear 2 plates. You know, one in the front, one in the back. It's too heavy, man. My fucking rodillo, culero, pinche placa de fierro. Yeah, but you never know who's gonna shoot you in the back here. You always look back. Pinches puercos. You know, spit on, asesinos, pinches ratero, corrupto, all that shit was said to me, you know? And dude, I'll show you how I live. I live like a fucking hobo. I never made $1 million. You know, fucking hustling right now. I left that shit behind me. It's not something I am now. La policía es lo que es in Mexico. The cops are what they are in Mexico. The fame and the fucking clout is earned. It is a fucking factory of monsters. It is. But some of these monsters develop a fucking conscience. Some of these fucking monsters develop a fucking, you know, an ability to think for themselves, and that is when those monsters get a fucking chip implanted, or fucking get kicked out, or fucking get fucking canned. And when I started following Conejo, I saw him, I was like, fuck, cabrón, pinche Conejo. I recognize that office where he's, I recognize that office like behind him in that picture. And I was like, hey, ese cabrón yo lo conozco. And I fucking start figuring out, dude, hey, yo andaba atrás de ese cabrón. And I was like, we were following fucking Conejo for a while, and now we're somewhere else. You know, this is like a weird fucking time machine. That's what I call therapy, is a time machine. You know, I'm going through my healing process. I'm going through finding my spirituality again, espiritualidad que yo encontré aquí en Tijuana, you know, a través de otras cosas, de otras deidades diferentes a las de él, pero I found my spirituality here. And it was interesting ver el espejo, seeing a mirror of somebody, you know, somebody that was also running, somebody that was also changing what he did and what he's now doing, somebody trying to reinvent himself, somebody trying to create something out of that experience in a different way. And I reached out, you know, conversation is a therapy.
Yeah, oh yeah. Just last night, we were up to 1 in the morning, la neta. I'd be asleep at 9, 10. Y anoche estuvimos toda la pinche noche, just like how, like, como los años concedían. I'll be like, okay, in 2009, ¿dónde andabas? And I'll be like, oh shit, that's when I was doing this shit. So it's like, you know, yo la neta, I was just trying to outsmart them, not to get over on them, but to execute my plan, my life plan, you know, which was survival and protect. Look, you know, at the end of the day, we want the same shit, and it's just to like protect our loved ones, and we're gonna do whatever the fuck we gotta do para que se cumpla eso, you know. Y pues,
the how you slept, having the homies on watch, having your shit at the ready, and it's like you're describing how we slept and how we had our shit on fucking check. Que uno de esos cabrones le pasara algo y van a hacer el paro, you know. It's the same story, just fucking different sides of it. And the whole concept of el enemigo, hey, esos son los malos, esos son los buenos. Para ti, nosotros éramos los malos. Para nosotros, ustedes eran los malos. Pero el villano es un punto de vista. The villains are just a point of view. And that was almost 2 a.m. fucking conversation, just trying to figure out, like, hey, wait, aquí estaban ustedes. Like, oh, fuck, we were over here. And, you know, basically, son dos balas atravesándose en el aire, 2 bullets crossing each other in the air, you know. And, like, I've met your family. I've met what you created, and it's a life, it's a promise, and, you know, and it's fucking surreal, mind-blowing to see the after of it, the after party, the afterlife of it. Just realizing that there is life after death in a way, and how we both kind of went through our own process of dying, getting buried, and digging ourselves up.
You know, now cuando cruzo por San Isidro, as soon as I come in, it's like, oh, I'm home. It's just a strange feeling. Cruzo la línea, I'm home. Feels good. The smell, the way the traffic moves, like, the city got me like on point, to the point where I was just like, I was counting cars, the way I moved, the way I drove. Even my daughter was like my, you know, she's riding dirty with me, you know. She's part of this whole thing. She helped me, you know. Me ayudó. We did this together, and I don't know, it changed my life. Muchas cosas que me pasaron aquí, it just like changed my life for like the better, you know. Created some of the dopest music. I documented 15 years of Tijuana in my music. If you hear my fucking music, yeah, I mention LA, yeah, I mention California, but I documented Tijuana straight up.
Es lo que escuchas. When I hear your lyrics, when I hear what you talk about, es como leer el Z, pero con rima.
Yeah.
Es como leer el mexicano, el alarma. Es como leer alarma, pero te quedas, you look at it, it's like, this is like finding an old newspaper. It's like finding an old newspaper article. It's like finding an old Zeta newspaper and just reading through it. It's like, God, come on. This guy's reporting. It's like, you know, for me, you know, this was my experience. This is the war I fought. It's like it's like seeing somebody talk. It's like a time machine in the form of a song.
You know, todos siempre me preguntan, hey, ¿no te da miedo ir para allá, para la baja? And I'm like, nah, not really. It feels normal. I ain't gonna say that I ain't on my toes, because I am on my toes, you know. But, you know, I'm just gonna live my life, and ya llega una, this is the reset. This is a new me. I'm reborn, you know. Me morí, nací de vuelta, but I'm back here, you know. And there's a city que está lleno de fantasmas. You know what? These streets taught me about the human heart. I'm gonna talk about my heart. Like, I've seen some shit over here that, yeah, I have to be stone-faced about it, but in reality, on the inside, it hurt me. I seen some shit that, well, I probably will never see. The shit happens on the other side of the border, but here, the shit is vicious. Y la neta, pues, tengo compas que eran cold-hearted. You already know, cold-hearted. And I'm not saying that they were bad and I'm better than them because I didn't become just like them. I don't know. I just have a heart for a lot of things, and pues I kind of like recognize entre lo bueno y lo malo, you know. Lo reconozco, and don't get me wrong, like, I'm gonna react if, you know, Like, I'm gonna react the way I'm supposed to react in the situation que calls for. But for now, you know, I'm just, aquí estoy. You're talking about a sweat lodge. We're trying to sweat soon, you know. You know, pinche temazcal y sudar y sacar todas las pinches toxinas, you know. Y
Tijuana para mí, it's like Tijuana for me, that it's broke that delusion. You know, you see the movies when you're growing up, and now there's bad guys and heroes and shit like that. Agarras la onda. That, you know, we're all villains. Aquí en Tijuana tienes que ser un villano. De cualquier lado que estés, you have to be a fucking villain. And it means different things to different people, because villainy is a point of view. I remember being in a reunion with a high-level guy who was in charge of us. He said, ¿quién de aquí quiere hacer una diferencia para su ciudad y ser un héroe, cambiar las cosas? Sáquense a chingar a su madre. Lo que ocupa aquí son villanos, porque vamos contra los diablos y ocupamos diablos para batallar con los diablos. You know, they wanted demons, they wanted devils, they wanted fucking villains. Lo que Tijuana me enseñó, what Tijuana taught me is everybody can be a villain in somebody else's story. And you have to fucking come to terms with that. But it doesn't mean you have to stay that way.
Right now, when you were talking, I thought about some quote, el que no tranza no avanza and shit. You know? But, I don't know, it's just dope to be here, back in the city, you know, and I was just here to, like, share this with you and, you know, the positive things that came from it, you know? Like he said, the thing, I mean, it's rowdy out there, pero no es lo mismo, you know? You know, and I lost a lot of people that were close to me. Some got melted, some were in pieces, some are MIA, some are, you know, they're in the US, they got extradited, they got indicted, they ain't never coming out, you know? And so this is a city of a lot of loss. You lose a lot of people, you know, and I don't know, I think it makes you stronger, you know? It almost like, I'm fucking desensitized, you know? Unless it's like, alguien like this next to me, I probably won't have a real reaction. Yeah, I'll be like, damn, that's fucked up, that was my boy. But the way this city is like the shit that we see, like the savage ways that
hay normal y hay Tijuana, you know, there's normal, there's Tijuana. Tijuana normal is otra dimensión. Upside down, that's why I call it the upside down. It's otra dimensión. Mi primer jale, one of my first jobs that I did was it's like I remember getting bolt cutters. I was like, I was gonna breaching. I'm gonna fucking go to a door and fucking cut a chain and breach shit. Me novatearon, you know. I was a new guy. Fucking, I was supposed to cut a dude down from a bridge. That was my first job. That was my first fucking responsibility. And one of the older guys, viejo lobo de mar, big fucking conmigo on this motherfucker. Fucking old school judicial motherfucker. He said, like, hey, súbete, bájase cabrón, take him down. So, fuck, I'm just fucking there, just fucking put a fucking truck underneath it. Like, go down and like, hey, no mames, yeah, pobre cabrón, no mames, qué culeros fueron con él. The older guy says, what do you mean? This is very kind of them. This is kind? This fucking hanging somebody from a bridge is kind? The older guy said, yeah. His family's gonna have a body to bury. They're gonna have a funeral for him. They're gonna cry over his body. They're gonna bury him. The body is a gift. So they should be thankful. And that's when I learned that Tijuana is a different fucking kind of normal.
Y un día me entró una llamada, right? And it's the guy on the other side of the phone, he's real frantic. Vénganse pa' acá. We had a spot that nobody knew. It was like a meet point. Vénganse pa' acá, vénganse pa' acá. So we know something's not right. So we're getting ready, we're on our way there. And then we get a call from another guy and he's like, don't go, it's a setup. It's a setup. And then he's already getting there. And se empezó a oír algo in the background. You just imagine lo que se empezó a oír. So instead of that, we go straight and jump on a plane and go to Jalisco. Shit like that, like with nothing. Right now, we're buying a plane ticket y nos vamos. And we out of here.
Mobility.
Pa que, you know, just to get that, you know, those shadows, they're on you, you know. And this is a city que
Estás prendido. You're always on. It's like sleeping in a room with the light on. It's Tijuana. The light is always on. If you don't have one eye open, duermes con un ojo abierto, because it'll get you.
Me acuerdo que el día que me agarraron, right? You know, I'm talking to the team that got me, and I'm like, hey, ¿quién me puso? I tell these fools, like, ¿quién me puso? I'm out of here anyways. Fucking tell me, you know. And they like look at each other because they got me like in the little cabin in the back of the truck. I'm handcuffed here, and my there's the cuffs around my ankles, and they're cuffed to the bottom of the bed of the truck. It has a little thing on it. I'm not going nowhere. Just like tell me. Y se ríen, and they gave me the clues. So I put it together plus what other people tell me, and I remember, pues yo nunca llevaba nadie a mi casa, nadie, nunca. I never take nobody to my house. It's something I learned here, because aquí, like, let's just say I'm boys with you. 5 years down the line, something goes wrong, and this is the city donde se arreglan las cosas de otra manera, and you know exactly where I live, and that's where you're gonna go. And me, basically, they got me out of the way. The dude que me puso, he's just trying to get me out of the way. They used the government to get me out of the way. And pues cuando me agarraron, I thought it was something else. The way you guys moved in on me, snatched my ass up, esa madre, my life started flashing. Like, I started thinking about my kids, my mom, my family. Like, I'm down, and I'm hearing the things, and I'm like, you guys are smashing, so I know that you guys are making lefts, rights, by the engine revving up, stopping, the sirens going off. I'm thinking something else, Yo dije, ahorita me van a dar una pinche casa de seguridad, and they're gonna go to work on me, man. Van a hacer pedazos, they're gonna blowtorch me, they're gonna do some shit to me, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Soldados con tenis, Are these soldados con tenis? Are these PGR, or are these something else? Tijuana has the international trophy of police cosplay, These fuckers dressed like them.
And I remember when we first showed up over here, we had gotten into the situation. I talk about it on my podcast, and it's about this high-speed chase. But right before all that, I remember my boy le marca a su hermana que vaya a la casa de una bruja en West Covina. We're here and they're over there. So now we got the bruja on the fucking on the chirps. This is this Bulls Mobiles and Nexteles. Y me acuerdo que le pregunto a la bruja, we got her on speaker, le digo, oiga, ¿qué son? Because the way it happened, it wasn't your regular cop shit. Like in the US, like, they have their protocols. Yeah, motherfuckers get smoked over there, sacan la mano too quick, or some movement like that. Pero acá, it was some tactical shit, the way they were moving in on us. Y pues le digo a la señora, oiga, ¿qué eran? ¿Son buenos o son malos? Y la señora, that shit just came out loud from the teléfono. I said, son buenos, pero son malos. And I'm like, pero what the fuck does that mean? Le digo, pues, ¿qué significa eso? Oh, pues, significa que se van a esperar hasta que you fools are worn the fuck out, tan cansados, they're gonna come over that wire, los van a matar. And we're just like, damn, this is where the fuck we at? Like, this is, it's just some other shit. Yeah, and, I'm not gonna say that, but, because allá en los barrios, it's the same shit. We posted up, it's wartime, desde que estamos niños, we like kind of train for that, Pero acá, you're playing this game with the popos, you're playing this game with the police. And it's fair game to play on their same level. So se vale what they got, we got. Y no es como allá que the US que van a ser satélites y te van a dar vida si matas un canine. And acá, shit might go on stop like for forever. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the percentage of
over 90% of all murders in Mexico are never solved.
So it gives you, you got space to move when it comes to that, And if you're with it and you're willing to go that extra mile, then there's a place for you,
Las reglas son fluidas, just like normal is fluid. Las reglas son fluidas. When I started, there was rules about family. There was rules about not fucking with each other's family. There was rules about not going after women, children. But generations come and go. This is the thing with Mexico. Every 6 years, there's a reset. And this is at the government level. Every 6 years, there's a reset. Rules change, people change, who's in charge changes, uniforms change, the name changes, but some of the shit stays the same. At the street level, el que estaba encargado ayer ya no está, y se fueron todos los viejos. All the old guys leave, die, get arrested, go off to better lives, and then the young one coming. And los jóvenes, they don't have a teacher, they don't have a guide. The young guys don't have anybody showing them the ropes, and they think it's cool to go after somebody's kid. They think it's cool to go after somebody's wife, and that propagates a change in the system and the rules. The same all over history probably has been repeated over and over again. I think time's a flat circle. Pero aquí en Tijuana las reglas cambian constantemente. El dueño de ayer, the ruler of yesterday is the guy that's now has a corrido on him and maybe a altar somewhere. But he's dead and gone and buried, and everything he did, all the rules he created, all the things he was promoting, that's gone. Now it's, ahí vamos con el otro. You know, from el tres letras to la Isaola. There were people that would put rules forth, but they're gone now. And now there's new generations working, you know, nuevas generaciones hoy. And the rules just change.
Hay un dicho que my boy right here, he always tells me que alguien le dijo dicho, and it's like saying basically, si vas a andar chueco, tienes que andar, you got this andar recto. So for me, basically, just stay on the fucking sidelines. Yeah, I was immersed in this world, but like I said, you gotta be strategic and this is your enemy, this is your enemy, this is the government, and this shit is like one of those games with the cup with the little ball. And you gotta just let these motherfuckers do it, quitarte, and then you move. You move cuando there's an opportunity, and then one fault, you make the wrong move, te caga la verga. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta just.
The lesson I learned, and I wish somebody told me this lesson when I started. Nobody's against you. They're for themselves. If I knew that shit when I got in, a lot of shit would have been different. Nobody's against you, they're for themselves. Es una regla aquí. Todos están a su favor. No están en tu contra, están a su favor. Nobody's against you, they're for themselves. Once you realize this, you realize the rules of the game. Once you cross that line and you make it personal with somebody, you fuck with somebody in a very direct way, you make it a point to really disrupt their life, you're gonna pay for that shit. It's gonna haunt you. Things go around. You might be in the top one day, but the next day you're gonna be somewhere in a fucking Oxxo up in the parking lot trying to light a cigarette. You're gonna get an ice pick stuck up your ass. Niños perdidos is like a nickname we used to give ourselves. These were a bunch of kids. This is Never Neverland. Tijuana's Never Neverland. It's fucking Captain Hook and shit like that. Fucking pirates and Indians and shit. This is Tijuana. I was a kid. Era un niño. And being a man here, being an alpha in Tijuana is a different thing. When I went to the US and learned about alpha male culture and shit like that, how they kind of describe it out there. Un alpha aquí es enséñame, no me digas. Show me, don't tell me. That is an alpha here. And when I was coming up, I had people showing me. But I didn't have a brain to discern what they were showing me, if it was good or not. All I had was just fucking, no me morí, no me metí en broncas, creo que está bien. ¿Qué le pasó a ese niño? What happened to that kid? Still there. Just buried underneath a bunch of alcohol and substance abuse problems and fucking depression and shit like that. It's a big, heavy-weighted blanket that he's still underneath. Going through my process of sobriety, I've been fucking digging him out. ¿Dónde está ese niño? I think he's underneath all that shit. Sobriety's a time machine.
Yo la neta, una cosa that I take back from here son pesadillas, I don't know if it's because someone might say, oh, you're fucking weak, that's why you have nightmares, because a real motherfucker, he don't even care. But, I have nightmares and shit, siempre. Sometimes it'll stop for a month, But then they just started on me again, like the last week. I've been pesadillas every day. And in all those pesadillas, I just feel guilt. And I'm on some shit where like, I see myself doing things and it's like, I'm like out of body and I'm like, man, I don't want to do this. Why am I doing this? And it's just like, I don't know, siento guilt. But pues no, I had no option, you know. Llegué aquí, parachuted in, caí aquí, y pues this is the environment. ¿Qué chingados vamos a hacer, you know?
There's no do-over.
What can you do? You know, I just went with the flow, you know. It took me this way and I went that way. Y como tuve mi chance to like fall back, I did it. And no fue como que si, oh, I hung up my gloves. Nah, I just, you know, I have more things more important, but siempre estuve pendiente de que podía pasar. And I was always thinking about the fucking, like the negative possibilities of what could happen. Even today, I'm still like that, you know? Porque me miró ese güey. We was having, we didn't have breakfast today. We were right there by Boulevard Agua Caliente Mexican restaurant, doing our own shit. Se siente una morra right in front of us and she's looking at us. We're eating, we're clowning, we're whatever the fuck, watching the news, Afghanistan, lo que sea. And then my shit right away la estoy mirando and like, man, ¿por qué está mirando? And she's texting. And as soon as Bible check, we get up, now she's on the phone. To me, I'm already like, that means something else to me. That's my instincts already telling me, hey, we've been here too long. We gotta shake the spot porque si no.
That's PTSD, man.
Yeah, el PTSD just no te dejan paz, you know.
It's lo que es. PTSD, man. We didn't know. I didn't know anything about PTSD. You know? You mentioned Afghanistan. We used to call Tijuana Tijuanistan. That's what we used to call Tijuana, you know, Tijuanistan, because of the level of shit we saw here. That fucking being on shit. You know, you're not there anymore, but you see shit like that, and you're like, this is off. But it's a false alarm, or if it's a real alarm. But whatever that version of you was that taught you that lesson to look at shit like that kept you alive.
That kept me alive. Yeah, that's your survival. That's like.
It's el gallo que te hizo la vida. That's the calluses that left behind. But you know, I think the biggest lie that I was taught is that you're gonna get better. That was the biggest pinche mentira que me dijeron en mi vida. Hey, yeah, all that shit happened, all this stuff we went through, you're gonna get better. And it's not about getting better, it's about learning how to live with yourself and what you become. It's about learning how to live with it, not fucking getting better. It's like, you're not gonna grow an arm back if they chop it off. Ese es el pedo.
Como dije a few minutes ago, yo era como un reportero, yo estaba documentando todo lo que estaba pasando en la ciudad y lo que yo estaba pasando por mí. Pues yo tengo canciones donde yo hablo que no duermo, que las pesadillas, que esto, que otro, que tengo que sobrevivir, tengo que sacar a mi hija adelante, a mi familia, proteger pues lo poquito que tenía. That shit means the world. In a place que se lo quieren tragar.
You're writing it down, you're documenting it.
Y pues, and to answer lo de Dave, like, I've never been in fucking power like this, like that. But the little that I had when I was writing like that, pues esa madre te sientes como un pinche Dios, you know?
The power of life and death.
Y de hecho hasta again, like yesterday you brought up el fantasma, like, now that I think about it, I felt invisible.
Yeah.
There was a time when I felt invisible, like, none of you motherfuckers could touch me. Si me arriman, voy a marcar este número, les voy a dar mi pinche, you know, I'm gonna do the shit that people do out here to get out of the shit, and if not, it's gonna go the other way. And
it's the red pill from the Matrix. When I got in, all the guys that were like old school, they were all into Santa Muerte, and they had a bunch of, you know, hazing rituals related to Santa Muerte. They would fuck with us psychologically. And one of the hazing rituals they put us through, they fucking buried us overnight, you know? It was just to fuck with our heads in these fucking shallow graves. And they said that when we got out of those graves, like, ahora son fantasmas, cabrones, you know? Y los fantasmas pueden ver a los fantasmas. Entonces, reconózcanse, you know? And when he mentions the whole, all of you are ghosts now. It takes a ghost to see a ghost. And when he mentions that whole aspect of it, just feeling like a fantasma, like a ghost, the power that comes with this lifestyle is that you know the rules, you know what happens. When you see the news, you were a part of the news. When you see when you see a handoff at a Plaza Comercial, you know what's happening. Everybody else is oblivious to it. Everybody's moving around, but you are aware. If you want to look for the dangerous people in any environment, look for the hyper aware. Either somebody's guarding or somebody's looking up to fuck over. Eso es lo que es el fantasma. But there's a price with that shit. There is a power to it, but there's a price, and I think that price is no puedo dormir, fucking nightmares, being on constantly and having just this mental scar. There's always being open over and over again. When you see something, you're present, that reminds you of your past.
I met this dude, right? Y we would talk WhatsApp or however, social media, whatever. Y acá anda. Y un día, pues, he wanted to meet up, So me and my daughter had went to the movies. So we met up outside the movie theater. And it was crazy because lo miro. Y pues, he got that on him. And the way he was, es como que si me estaba mirando otra vez. But now it was weird. Now I'm looking at myself and somebody else. And I'm with my daughter, and the dude's left, right. And that starts making me look left, right. I'm like, why the fuck is fool looking everywhere? And something's, y me dice, there's shit going on, this and that. Y ahí donde fuimos, pues, I'm on it, I notice fools with earpieces. I notice these things. I always look at the boots, them, like them running deputy boots. Yo entraba a lugares and I always was checking them shoes like, yeah, this foot está normal, pero he got them fucking deputy boots on, like, hell, I'm out of here. Y estamos ahí outside the theater and he's telling me and he got it on him and he's holding it, he's gripping it. And I was like, all right, my brother gotta go. Pues estaba andando yo con mi hija, but I seen myself in him, and it was just like, damn, this is straight deja vu. I remember being there, looking, keeping point, for not only for myself, but for others, like he's saying. And at the same time, pues, encontrando el gobierno in the crowd, because they're always there.
Take from the one. Fantasmas, hyper aware. You're either looking out for your shit or somebody's looking out for you.
And it's that energy, you could tell when you're somewhere and someone just looked at you, some human connection happens where you're like, why do you look at me like that? What does that mean? And then you look to see if he's giving eyes to somebody else. You start counting and you just, I don't know, this shit's a science. This shit's mathematical.
That's like
straight up.
That's like that Patrick Swayze movie, Ghost, when he realizes that they could see each other. One ghost could see each other. That's a fucking freaky shit. When you realize you can see each other. But it takes one to know when you recognize that. Todos somos fantasmas is what I was told that night.
Like for artists, for people that write music, they gotta be inspired, or else they get writer's block. They get stuck, no saben qué, no. I'm in a place where esta madre me dio, this shit gave me ammunition like a motherfucker. Literally and fucking, as an artist. Y pues, there was just so much of it that que, it just seems so dope to me, Y pues, me, encontré un studio, empecé a grabar. Yeah, I did a couple collabs. Probably no one's ever gonna hear these songs. I rap with a bunch of rappers from Tijuana. Bunch of rappers. They became my boys. De hecho, uno es de un compa de Sinaloa que they would bring them down here. Mis compas aquí, they're from Liberty Hills, pero tenían acá en el Solero una bodega. Y he became my boy. Es primo del Sick Jack and se acaba de morir. And I did a bunch of songs with all these dudes, and TJ music. I don't know. When I was living it, I didn't see it, but I was doing it. And I was doing it, and I don't know, the process, like, it was just normal. Somebody was just normal life. I didn't see nothing wrong with it. Fucker was strapped up, studio food strapped up, normal shit. Fumando, drinking, celebrating, like But at the same time, I was always like real, like kind of conservative in a way. Sí había días que I'd go off the deep end, but for the most part, I'll be conservative as far as like, hey, wait a minute. You got all the same factors pendientes, but you got one more than all these dudes. And that always kept me kind of conservative, like, okay, ponte trucha, but the music, I don't know, like I said, I just had so much, there's so much, what's the word? There's just so much here that there's no way that you're gonna run out of content. It's imposible. And it could be, it doesn't even have to be some gangster shit, like just even regular life, you know? It could be poverty. It could be, there's a lot of shit here. We talked about a lot of shit yesterday. And
it's inspirations everywhere. Going down the street and seeing a Dr. Simi guy dancing on the fucking corner. Just going into a poor neighborhood and seeing a dude that has 6 floors on his house for no fucking reason.
Yeah.
And it's shit like that. You're like...
De hecho, cuando regresé para atrás a Tijuana I was over there. It took me a while to get my shit in order so I could cross back over. Y crucé, y ahí en una cómoda en mi casa la abrí. Esa madre había como unos pinches 50 little peanut phones del Oxxo.
Twinkies.
Puros pinches throwaways que I just use them for like, maybe some of those phones los usaba for one call. Crack the chip. Ya lo dejaba esa madre. You know, y ya after a bunch, pues los tiraron a trash bag. But apparently ahí me agarraron, I didn't get to throw those away.
You want to tradecraft the shit right there.
Yeah.
That shit, I train government agencies out there in the world that work overseas. And like, I learned that shit from people like you actually applying it real time. And that's the thing. Tijuana is that. It's a university. It's not only a university. It's like, it's teaching you live. Like he took music as a way to document his shit. I took a notebook and a video camera and I recorded all these things that I now show across the country as far as tradecraft shit that is now getting taught to Border Patrol, TAC teams, to fucking SEALs, to SF guys going off overseas doing weird places. And that whole craftiness. Like, hey, yeah, that's some ninja shit. Like, who taught you that? Pinche Noel del pinche Zona Norte. That's who taught me that shit.
De la sonaja.
Right? Like, dude, that fucking shit you do with the paper line as far as the phones to keep communication separate. Did you learn that shit? Calderon de la Pinta. They fucking showed me that shit. Fucking how to make a Faraday cage bag to dump in a phone so they won't get any signals out when you pick up a guy who's high level. My mom used to sell those shit for us. These fucking instructions we got from YouTube.
No, me acuerdo que iba aquí al puente, que te lleva la línea, and I had one phone that I would only use it when I was on that puente. And boom, I would be off forever. Y de hecho, it doesn't matter now because it's not like motherfuckers are not up on game, you know? Pero yo and the person on that other side of that line, sabíamos el día, nos poníamos de acuerdo. They just say, next month on the 12th at 8 p.m., we're going to turn the phones on exactly the same time. Boom, make that call, y se acaba. Trash. Then, you know, so
I don't know. Go on Call of Duty online gaming and fucking text the new number there and fucking go on the phone thing. It's fucking separate communication, like fucking Call of Duty chat lines. Fucking just do that through there. That bullshit. Like you show that shit like that's fucking ISIS terrorist shit. No, esas madres hacíamos aquí en Tijuana no para comunicar.
Tijuana en 3 palabras. Life, death, and rebirth. You know, vida, muerte, encarnación, el nacimiento.
Serpiente emplumada moviéndose la cola. That one more. Basically, a feathered serpent eating its tail. Same thing. Vida, muerte, vida, nacimiento, vida, y muerte. That's the story here. There's a Santa Muerte shrine that we used to leave offerings on for a safe day of work. Te vas a la presa. You go to La Presa, cross that La Presa bridge, and there's a curve, and there's a big altar there. It gets destroyed every couple of months. They build it up, The military breaks it down. Catholics go there, Christians groups break it down, and it gets rebuilt. And all the rubble is covered in pictures, candles, the plegarias, hope streams, and it gets knocked down and it gets built back up. I think that's the clearest symbol of what Tijuana is.
Another thing about, like, right now you're saying about La Santa Muerte, like, it's crazy. I've been in ceremonies where I'm next to a cop. I'm a fugitive. He's on a fugitive task force, but we're in the same ceremony. Y esa man no importa. Estamos en otro world. Yeah, whether it be at the sweat lodge, I'll be at the sweat straight sweating, and they was humans. This was tenían problemas, Fools had stress. The fools started having fucking like illnesses from their job, and I was like, it's like a mental illness on my job. My job, like, just trying to stay free was all that worrying. I don't know. I'm glad I had the sweat lodge because of that. Se me salían todos los pinches demonios. Llegaban, they'll show up round 1, round 2. By round 4, they were out the fucking that front door,
And so Santa Muerte priestess told me that, policías, rateros, corruptos, políticos limpios, todos. La muerte le va a todos. Death is on everybody's side. That's what she would say. That's like, I remember just going through some of these processes and just seeing people like, we're after that guy, pero aquí se cancela. This is neutral ground. There was a pause, and there was a respect there afterwards too. When you meet somebody out there that you know was part of the faith, there's no more part of the process. And later on, when you meet them, after the all your bullshit just went back, and all the job you just did just ended, and everything just what was it all about, or what good is it now for you? And you look back, and you're in a place where, like, we share the same kind of spiritual process. We share some of the same ceremony. We share some of the healing. It's like, hey, we were not that fucking different, the whole concept of an enemy. The enemy is never clearly defined. El enemigo nunca me lo definía. I never went to through training. They never had a picture of, este es el enemigo. This is what you need to go after. It was a painting that you kept changing. El enemigo, the enemy sometimes was a cop that was working with you. Eran los del AFI, eran el enemigo. Or the dude from Barrio Logan that would come and fucking murk here for a certain group. That's el enemigo. But later on, you start realizing that all these fuckers have a goal. All these fuckers also go through a specific selection process in their way. They go through the ringer. They grew up in the hood. Violence is part of their upbringing. They're tested. They're hazed. They're jumped in. And then you look back on your experience, and I was fucking hazed, jumped in, violence. I had to prove myself over and over again. And that, the deeper you go, I think the older you get, you realize that there's no us and them. There's us. At the end, it's a weird Buddhist fucking thing that they have as well. You realize that you're one with everything. I think part of my process of going through my healing is just realizing that me and Conejo weren't that different as far as what we were doing, and we're part of a weird game. But at the end of Monopoly, all the pieces go back in the box.
Last night, me, Ed, and Dave, we had this fucking crazy conversation, and for a minute I just sit back y Ed le dice algo a David le dice algo a Ed, and I'm just I'm hearing this shit, me, and then I'm like, okay, pues esta madre es un little microcosm, right? This little world we're living in this little microcosm, but there's another fucking world above it, and that's what really fucked me up when I'm learning about this other world we're right here on some, nos estamos comiendo uno al otro, but there's another world, there's another, hay otro sistema que está sobre del que nosotros pensamos that's it, because sometimes our mind's that little and our world's that little que ni nos imaginamos that this other shit's going on. And
la gente que estaba encargada de mí me convenció de que él era el enemigo. la gente que estaba encargada de él le convenció que yo era el enemigo. Y después de que se fueron esos cabrones, we're in this room, hanging out, talking, laughing, sharing stories of debauchery, sharing stories of pain, sharing stories of just pure fucking hell on earth, hellscapes on earth, and realizing afterwards that purgatory went through, you know, just estamos en el mismo, like basically we're all on the same level at the end of it. Yeah. So like what, you know, we're really that different, you know? If you're conscientious enough to know that you're losing your soul, you still have a soul. You still have a soul to lose. La empatía muera al último. And some people are just born without it. Or some people just fucking have it, died early on. There's fucking monsters out there. And everybody talks about being a stone cold killer and shit like that. I've met many of them. De neta, pinches vatos cabrones que mataban y no mataban. Fucking kill a dude, fucking go into this kitchen and have cornflakes, you know? Those guys are rare, but they're out there, you know? Some monsters. Those fucking guys are fucking monsters. I can understand what made them that way, you know? Enough that I know that I'm, you know, enough that I know that it's not something I would want to become or would want to approach to be myself. La empatía es un handicap. Empathy is a handicap they want to kill in you from the start. And I don't know Conejo's process with that. My process with it was like, early on, you're a monster. This is what you do. Yeah. Those are the bad guys. Fuck them up. And empathy was not part of the process that we had to go through.
No, you sometimes even, I'm not saying like, you gotta even kind of like fake laugh to make your make your team, make them feel that you guys are all on the same page, even though on the inside you know that shit was foul. Yeah, so you know.
Trágatelo.
Yeah, I don't know. I just always think about like I had a little bit of love. Like there's things that I loved and I just me agarré de eso, you know, like. And just, you know, everything está todo feo, pero that love was like beautiful. You know, like
if you can feel that you're losing your soul, I mean, you still have a soul to lose. I think that's the main thing. You know, cuando sientes que lo estás perdiendo, no, tienes poquito. It's coming out of it and still having something. You know, I think that's what saved me at least.
De hecho, there's days like even now, you know, like que you know, pues me roló un gallito and like, I don't know what the fuck, me pego nomás un pinche tanque, quedo bien paniqueado, the PTSD, that shit comes out and it reminds me, and I'm back to like looking at the blinds in my house, checking out the same shit back to normal, looking at the cameras. I'll call my boy, hey, what you think, fool? Me un pinche carro, this shit hit the corner, or, you know, I go back to it like, no, it's not like, that shit's not gonna like let me go, you know? I love smoking weed, pero a veces esa madre me hace daño. That shit hits me like, you know, me ondea. Like, it's like, it's instead of it being a medicine, it becomes like the opposite, you know? Y I don't know, hopefully as I get older, I know I'm never gonna forget, but hopefully as I get older and older, I'll get wiser and, you know, I'll just, you know, you start figuring it out maybe. I don't know. No sé.
But I think you're doing something with it already by singing about it and creating things that other people are going to listen to, and it's going to change the way they go about their process. Yo creo que llegamos a un punto donde ya no se trata de nosotros. I think we're at a point in our lives where it's not about us anymore. You know, if we have children, you are the ghost of your children's future. That's all you are. You know, it's about them. You know, you're the bow, they're the arrow. And we're not going to get better. You know, again, las mentiras que nos dicen, te vas a mejorar, va a pasar un momento y todo esto va a quedar de ti, everything's going to be okay. That's bullshit. But I think if you die with this shit inside, that is going to be the true tragedy. And I think if you're writing about it, singing about it, making a difference with it, fucking inspiring, moving shit around, and not letting people die, like, there's death and there's death.
Yeah.
Some of your homies that you talked about last night, you know, their names, their stories, you talking about them is keeping them here. It's keeping them alive, and it's making whatever they did, whatever they lost, it's making all that shit worth it. And that's, I think, at the end, for me at least, that's where I found my purpose in that, you know.
We nos fuimos a chingar unos tacos en Utah y se me hace que se llama tacos del gallito, right?
Taco del gallo. Yeah.
¿El gallo o el gallito?
El gallo uno, no el gallo dos.
Okay, so we went up in there and I ran into a homie, un fan, you know, que era aquí de San Diego. Y me dice, no, pues tengo 3 primos de tu barrio, acaban de matar a uno, y este. And, you know, he's like, me empieza a decir, like, and he's not the only one. I've got it from a gang of people, and they'll tell me, like, man, yo con esta rola tuya, man, me chingué un güey, y con esta hacíamos esto, y con esta hacíamos jales con estas, and you know, there's days where I'm like, oh, that's right, pero like the other side of me, when I hear that, I don't feel proud. I just feel like, okay, hice algo para ti, we relate, but it's not like I'm gonna fucking celebrate that. It's a weird thing. I don't feel no kind of like, for whoever's gonna watch this and see this, there's no like celebrating that shit. I don't feel like, give me a fucking trophy because I made a song that helped you go and fucking body bag some food, you know? I just wrote a song or some shit I was going through or shit that was around me, or a story of someone that I knew that he shared it with me and he wanted me to, like, you know, pues rap era como corridos para mí, you know? Like I was telling stories del barrio y pues de my surroundings, you know? And it's a weird thing with me with that because I don't ever feel like I could celebrate that. That music is not like for celebrating. It's for, I don't know.
En mi cultura, en my culture, it's like es un chamán. Un chamán manifiesta lo que atraviesa. You go into, the shaman goes into the spirit world and comes back and manifests that through song, music, ceremony. And in a way, I think that's what you're doing. Now, there's a retarded part of most people's minds when they say, you know, illumination is a destructive process. It's not about feeling better or getting better. It's about the crumbling away from truth. And if you're singing about truth, you know, it's gonna hurt. You know, it's gonna do damage as well. Fucking if any fucking energy matters, it has to have both parts. It has to have the positive effects of change, and also has to have some of the negative effects of change. But I'm here as un chamán. You know, you're speaking something from you went to the underworld, and you brought back something. Used to be drums, and used to be songs of our people, and now it's Conejo in my earbud.
Big C rock, callada ego is landed. Goofy moon, dedication to. I'm back full-fledged, I'ma do it.
Want to find out more about us? You can check us out on our social media.
Conejo Rapper, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, todo.
RedsManifesto.com.
Chief down in this concrete jungle. You can get got, it's hard to cookie crumble. The psyche of the villain so sexy. Might say kill him in these Cortez Nikes. Gotta get mine, yeah, that's regardless. No fly zone for all you orders. Straight up, I be creeping dolo. Share man slim, you know the mugshot photo. Música asesina. Inside, a sinister mind. Inside, a sinister mind. Inside, a sinister mind. You are now tuned in to a sinister mind. Inside, a sinister mind. Inside, a sinister mind. Inside, a sinister mind. You are now tuned in to a sinister mind.
Violent crime in Tijuana has reached record levels. During just 1 week in August, 48 people lost their lives in homicide. That's nearly the same total of homicide victims in San Diego in all of last year.